We do have a lot of things to talk about. There's some pretty big news that happened since we last got to you, and we're going to start right there with the biggest announcement of the week. It came to us courtesy of Monday Night Raw, and we on this, our last episode, we're talking about why Becky Lynch wasn't at Money in the Bank defending her championship, and that she had sort of been taking a little bit of a back seat and everything like that. Well, we got our answers as to why that was on Monday Night Raw right off the top. The man came out and brought out Asuka, announced to Asuka that, the Money in the Bank ladder match for the women wasn't for a shot at the championship, but rather the Raw Women's Championship itself. And so that made Asuka the champion. And the reason being, as you all know listening to this, Becky Lynch is going to be a mom. Becky Lynch announced that she was pregnant. What was your reaction, Baby Huey?
I was shocked. First off, I thought it was one of the best segments in Raw in a very long time. And I was actually watching live. I was able to catch the East Coast feed, and I was watching on my phone in my room, and it just, the whole thing just seemed odd when she came out to the ring and she didn't have the title around her waist. Instead, she was carrying the briefcase. I was like, what's going on here? And yeah, just coming off, we recorded the day before and we were questioning where's Becky kind of been, other than like her one promo post WrestleMania. She's kind of really been active. I mean, I get it. They've been building to Money in the Bank match, but it's like, yeah, the Raw Women's Champion has not been really seen. And, so I was just anxious to see what was going to happen in that opening segment, and we got the answer. And yeah, I was kind of blown away. You and I were talking later that night, and there were rumors earlier in the day, but I did not see any of that. So I legit was shocked and surprised watching it in real time with that announcement coming out. So congrats to her and Seth Rollins.
Yeah, so it's so funny that given the nature of pro wrestling and Seth Rollins' current character right now, is that it's almost like Becky Lynch is just having this baby by herself. It is so the polar opposite of what it was when they were trying to shoehorn their relationship down our throats. That they're dating. Michael Cole couldn't get out of his own way to tell us enough that Seth Rollins and the man were an item. And so, flash forward now to this announcement. It's they barely even referenced the fact that it was with Seth Rollins. So I thought that was just kind of a funny sort of just diametrically opposed sort of approaches to their relationship now. I of course, right off the top, congratulations are in order for Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. That's awesome. Terrific news for them, and I'm sure that they will be, hopefully, very good parents. And what little window we've had into, who they are as actual people, they do seem pretty rock solid. So I'm hopeful for them. Big time congratulations. I unfortunately did see some of the chatter online going into it. I think it was late Sunday night. I was just, cruising around, and I think coming from I think somebody on a Reddit thread or something like that had sort of spoiled the surprise that, Becky Lynch was going to be announcing that she is pregnant. And once I read that, I was like, well, that makes a lot of sense as to exactly why she hasn't, obviously been wrestling and everything like that. I did not foresee, I thought it was a nice touch that they had the championship in the briefcase. Like that was very cool, a very cool way of doing it, teasing the fact that it was in there all along. Whether it was or not, we'll never know. But it was just a very cool sort of reveal on Monday Night Raw. But, even with having it sort of minorly spoiled, still very surprised. As we said, congratulations are in order. And this show, and it's nobody's business when somebody decides to have a child or start a family or anything like that. That is not for us to say on a person-to-person level to anybody. But we're here to talk about pro wrestling and how this impacts professional wrestling, and just being 100% real. While me, the person, being happy for Becky Lynch, me, the wrestling fan, couldn't help but think a little bit about how this would affect WWE and pro wrestling in general moving forward. I mean, because we're looking at, Becky Lynch is going to be, her career is forever going to be altered. Now that she's becoming a mother, and obviously she won't be the first, mother to get in the ring for WWE and stuff like that. Should she decide to come back? But I guess what it rose up in me was, does she want to come back? Will she want to come back? She might want to come back right now, and then after she, has her kid, might decide that, I don't want to do this anymore. And we were already. It's funny how this happened, because we were talking about recently as well the fact that she is being lured by Hollywood now too, and I lamented that I would hate to lose full-time Becky Lynch so early into sort of this meteoric rise that she has taken, and then this announcement happened, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, she's gonna have a kid, so she's gonna be gone for at least the 9 months plus however long after that she's going to want to take to get back in ring shape and everything like that, and obviously be there for the kid, and then also being lured away from Hollywood. It just got me thinking that that we could have very well seen the end of Becky Lynch as a full-time pro wrestler, and that's a big blow to pro wrestling in general, certainly to WWE. And it's not like Seth, the father, again bearing the lead, Seth Rollins is a full-time pro wrestler as well. It's a very difficult profession. There's a lot of demands on your time and travel and everything like that. I don't know if you can have two pro wrestlers in their prime be new parents, and I don't know if that's a reasonable expectation to negotiate necessarily. When Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella had a kid, Daniel Bryan was not a full-time wrestler at that point. He'd been forced to retire. And then now, flip it on its head, Brie is retired and stuff like that. So it's like there was not really a point where they were both on the road all year long raising a young child. So I think that this is forever going to, I just don't know what the future holds for Becky's career as a full-time performer.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to break down in this within this announcement. And I think the big thing, as you just brought up, is just the future landscape of her career, the women's division, WWE as a whole. It's really going to be interesting just how this plays out. And so just from the career path, as you mentioned, I think the way that segment played out, if that was the end of Becky's career, I thought it was a beautiful way, as far as passing the torch to Asuka, saying goodbye, just emotionally expressing how much all this means to her, the Performance Center, all that, and just even walking up the ramp and to the camera one last time, I'm going to miss you guys. Like, all that played nicely, if that is like nice little bow on wrapping up the man's career. But we don't know how it's all going to play out. We can speculate for the sake of this conversation. So theoretically, I mean, who knows? Maybe, as you said, she could have the kid and doesn't want to be a wrestler anymore. Or who knows? Maybe those other opportunities in Hollywood and whatnot are still there. And we look at the pandemic, I think everything's on hold. So maybe those opportunities that rumor she was going to be interested in could be there in 2021, theoretically, after the kid is born. So those opportunities still could exist that she can explore after giving birth and whatnot. So we can wait and see. But let's say she does want to wrestle. It could very much just be a part-time thing. And I mean, I guess having some Becky Lynch is better than none at all. So
of course,
look at the silver lining there. But let's kind of fantasy book. It could be okay. They say I think it was a People magazine. The timing of this, she had the pregnancy test in April and found out she was pregnant. So the kid supposedly is going to be due in December.
I worked that math out already. As a December baby, good on you, Becky Lynch. The world needs more Sagittariuses, so I'm all for that, and I'm fully willing to share my birthday with the impending baby man, as it were.
Baby man. Well, I was just gonna say so, and then I don't know how long maternity leave is in the wrestling world. I know,
Ha!
like, well, but I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, most workplaces is what, 3 months. So let's say she gives birth in December, and then like
Well,
next 3 months, so she could theoretically still do something at next year's WrestleMania. Maybe.
she
I mean,
could. What I would think is more likely, I guess maybe more storybook.
okay,
Yeah, theoretically she could do something at next year's WrestleMania. I don't think she's going to want to, and I don't blame her. I mean, it is the show of shows, and maybe she will want to be there, when they're back with a live crowd again and stuff like that, and do something
LA,
cool.
man.
Yeah, it will be LA, which she's relocated down there anyway. So that's definitely a possibility, and maybe not even doing it in terms of having a match. I certainly would love that. In my head, the more storybook way, it's a longer layoff, but she doesn't
Okay.
come back until the Royal Rumble after that WrestleMania. And at that point, I would love a dominant heel Ronda Rousey as the champion, and Becky
Okay.
Lynch shows up to win the Royal Rumble again, and we finally get Ronda and Becky one-on-one at WrestleMania, like we so richly deserved, and they can put a capper on that feud, as it were. So that's sort of my fantasy booking in terms of what I have going on. But your scenario is definitely very realistic because it's WrestleMania. And obviously, it is what the marquee is all about, and WrestleMania moments and all that jazz. So that's definitely a realistic scenario. I feel like it might still be cutting it a little too close to her having the kid.
Okay, so you're saying all this, what you just played out, this will all be in 2022.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and that makes more sense. Obviously, a full year as being a mom, let her being off the road for a full year with a child to raise it, in that first impressionable, important year of the kid's life. But yeah, I mean, I know some people online were speculating, oh, she could totally, give birth this December 2020, and then make an appearance at the Royal Rumble January 2021, and it's
not a chance.
I know, yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's way too soon. Like, she just given birth, and then like 3 weeks later is like a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. That cannot happen. Like, you need time to heal and just be there for your kid. Like, this is your first child. You only had that first kid once, and it's such an important part of their development and livelihood. So, yeah, I could totally see our buddy Mike Holler said maybe she can easily maybe come out next year's WrestleMania with the kid and just wave to the crowd, like something very simple. Like that.
Yeah, absolutely. She could show up. She could even do a run in and like help somebody. I don't know, to set up a potential thing, or even just again to have that sort of farewell moment. And I'm not saying that her career is done. Again, as we're speculating on what a return would look like, I'm just saying that no matter what happens, things are changed forever, obviously, for both Seth and Becky Lynch. I mean, they're starting a family together. They're about to be married. They're gonna start this family. That's life-changing stuff in a very good way. And as people that talk wrestling, we can only just sort of speculate in terms of how it will impact their careers and the business at large. But it would, I mean, just stunning announcement. I mean, she really is. Like, as I tell people that maybe have faded away from wrestling or anything like that, she became the biggest thing in the whole industry, and it's. If this is it for her, I mean, she should be commended for that, because she broke a lot of ground. She gave some really just terrific, entertaining performances, and she deserves a lot of praise. Even if her career ended on Monday Night Raw this week, she's no doubt about it a Hall of Famer.
Well, okay, let me just ask you real quick. We haven't had time to really talk about this, but just what you think of that whole segment overall, as far as how much you think Asuka knew going into that. And I'm saying that in reference to, like, for example, most recently Roman Reigns, when he announced he had leukemia, or it came back, and when he walked up the ramp, Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley, and Seth Rollins came out and were crying and hugged him. Apparently, they were told, you need to stand in gorilla position. Roman's going to have an announcement, and I need you guys to go out there and console him, hug him. They didn't have no idea what the announcement was. now jump ahead to this past week. Do you think how much Asuka knew, or there were some reports of what, how much was known and not known, but just from your perspective, do you think Asuka knew a lot, or knew part of it?
I think she knew she was getting the championship.
Okay.
I don't know if she knew that Becky was going to announce being pregnant. Her reaction, I mean, Asuka's been killing it, just in general with her reactions and just everything. The person that if it's on TV, it's wrestling in me thinks that she knew. But part of me but I kind of go back and forth. I don't think it's really important because I think I think that Asuka gave a great heartfelt reaction whether she knew ahead of time or not. And I thought the segment as it was fantastic. It was a great heartfelt moment. The hug shared between Becky and Asuka will be one of those well-remembered moments from Monday Night Raw. The person in me that, in terms of, like Roman's announcement and wanting to keep Raw, part of me tends to think that maybe she didn't know. Maybe that was in an era that is so scripted and is PG. The only bullets really left in your gun is the element of surprise. So maybe she didn't know. What is your theory?
Okay, because apparently, rumor is that Asuka knew that she had to go out there and she was going to get the title, but she didn't know that Becky had a follow-up announcement. So I think and you saw how it played out. She went out there, got the title, was all excited. She's like that, the briefcase is mine, really emphasizing the briefcase. And then when she opened up, says for the title, she was excited, ran all around, celebrated all the way to the commentator's desk, but she came back. So it was like for me watching, I was like, wait a sec, Becky has not explained necessarily why she's leaving. She said she had to go away for a while. So the fact that Asuka came back, it was like, okay, here we go. There's more to it. And then when she made the announcement that she's gonna be a mom, then Asuka really just, that seemed really genuine, as far as her just happy, gave her the hug. It was like, Becky. So I there's two parts to that segment. So I think Asuka probably knew the first half, but didn't know the second half. And I'm sure they probably told her she's going to make an announcement. By all means, react accordingly and show, the raw emotions. I thought that was very cool. And I thought that was very genuine. But then just kind of reading online and stuff. So the Money in the Bank match was filmed back in April, actually, like a month ago. I think a week or two after WrestleMania aired. And I think at the time, none of them actually knew what the stakes were. They just filmed the Money in the Bank match. And I think it wasn't recently decided to, okay, let's do this segment with making it official with the briefcase having the championship at hand. So I think everyone competing did not know what was going to happen. I think that was a last minute decision. But the thing I also wanted to ask you, Jimbo, was, so just kind of reading a lot of the comments and stuff, and a lot of people were upset that Asuka was just handed championship and there wasn't a tournament to
why she had a match for it.
Yeah, and that's what I said too, or that's what I was thinking. It was like, no, I mean the ladder match was the match. I mean, I guess comparing it to maybe the Cruiserweight Championship or what we're seeing with
they said it was the most unique Money in the Bank ladder match of all time. And it was the uniqueness that kept on giving. It not only so, I had no issue with that. And
okay,
I think because Becky explained that the ladder match was not in fact for the contract, but for the championship. So I had no issue with that. I think in its uniqueness, this Money in the Bank will stand out, not just because the match was at the headquarters, but because it was actually for the championship itself as a cool surprise.
Did you see CM Punk's comments about this whole thing as well?
No, I did not. What did he say?
Real quick, he just said he thought it was a missed opportunity for a heel turn from Asuka. As far as he thought it would have been badass if Asuka in that moment, after she got the title, would have blew the green mist in Becky's face in the ring.
Yeah, I don't see green mist being a popular tactic to use in today's world with coronavirus.
With germs and stuff, and she's pregnant. You don't be spraying germs all over her. I mean, that's what I said too. I was like, come on, CM Punk. I get it. That's the booker in him, the wrestler in him.
Yeah, I mean, it would have worked. I would have bid on that for sure.
But the timing, no. And that's the thing. She hasn't really been doing the green mist much lately. So I wonder if they're just kind of
I think
phasing that out.
Yeah, I think that's because of the Rona.
Yeah,
They're doing that, and I kind of miss the green mist, but I get it. No, CM Punk's right. It would have been a hell of a thing. Be a hell of a thing too if Becky was just lying and she turned heel over it too. But
she just had like
a fake baby, just like Terry Runnels with D'Lo Brown. But well, be that as it may. But is there a bigger heel in wrestling than Seth Rollins? By the way, I mean. He takes down the top star in wrestling without having to fire a shot. Well, one, but not on screen. Good Lord, my goodness, Seth. Never turn that man can never be a babyface again. Never. Unreal.
All the memes about this have been hysterical. If you look at it from a lightheartedness of it all, it just like how well, I don't know if I get into, but just some of the goofiness of how people are analyzing this whole situation. Very funny.
It could not have been more perfect because Seth was sort of borderline catatonic after losing to Drew McIntyre and then shaking his hand. So he was so disheveled and just looked so despondent and sad. And so for it to be on the evening that your fiance announces that she's pregnant, it made everything so ripe for parody that he was like not happy when he realized that the condom broke or you didn't pull out. It was too good. It was just too good. But yeah, biggest heel in wrestling easily, Seth Rollins. Not only is he engaged to the object of so many wrestling fans' affections. He knocks her up and takes her out of the damn business.
Well, that's the thing. It was there was a meme. So Becky Lynch is the second Irish person Seth Rollins taken out. First Finn Balor, and now Becky Lynch.
Man, the jokes were really funny, and I think one of my favorite comments, which I saw often repeated, was that the rumor was that Ronda Rousey left to go start a family. And Becky even beat Ronda at that. So
I was like, I know, I saw that too. I was like, wow.
Becky just beats Ronda at everything, which is great. But they started selling the mom shirt on WWEshop.com already, which I
admit something to you real quick.
Did you buy one?
No. But okay. So there's a Walgreens up the street from me that, I go in, maybe once a week or every other week getting whatever. In the last few weeks, I've gone in there looking for toilet paper or other necessities in this pandemic. I always go to
Huey
the
hoarding,
toy section.
Hoarding supplies, selling them on the black market at an insane markup.
So I go to the toy section and I saw a Becky Lynch figure in there, and I'm like, I don't need it right now. And it's the one that says the man on the shirt and everything. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like the most recent version of her gimmick. And like the last 4 times I've been in there last month or two, I always just walk by and say, nah, I'll just wait. I'll wait. I don't need it right now. That day when she said she was pregnant, first thing, I made a beeline to the toy section. I got and bought that figure because who knows if she'll ever be back again. I mean,
sad, strange little man you are, baby.
So I got the man action figure in my room now. So it's like, I was like, because you don't know, she might not be a full-time wrestler again, or who knows.
But yeah, so they're selling the mom shirts already on WWEshop.com. I can only hope that when Kayla Braxton and I announced # the baby bump, that they will sell similar shirts on WWEshop.com as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And when Kayla
with
can
your
finally
face
announce
on
that.
it.
Well, no, just the usual bump logo, but you just add the baby bump to it. So we don't want to be too tacky, baby Huey.
Or a silhouette
but I look forward to that when my bae, Kayla Braxton, and I can make that announcement. So I'm gonna shoot my shot. All right, moving along from the man again, and at the end of the day, congratulations is the first and foremost thing. Congratulations to Becky Lynch and I guess Seth Rollins as well. Damn dastardly heel.